I'll start with 5 happy dollars, thanking all of you who have been cooperative and helpful in the Rotary Club and done pretty much whatever I've asked, when I've asked, unless you had some good reason to say no. And I'm not the kind of leader that if you say no, you're out. I'm the kind of leader that appreciates what you do. So, any other happy dollars? Yes.
This is a little bit of a long story, but the short of it is, I have one child, 32-year-old daughter and mother of 2. Quite a while ago, she picked up an infection that went unnoticed. The infection lasted for quite a while. It damaged her heart, and the damage to her heart caused a couple of small strokes. Last week at Lankenau Medical Center, she had open heart surgery, and the surgery was successful.
Great.
And she's got a long road ahead of her. Good story.
Good stuff, yeah. Jack?
Yes, I just got over a 3-week episode of a severe bronchitis, to which I am very thankful.
And we're thankful too.
I will give $2 for the 2 years of your very successful presidency.
Well, thank you very much, and I always like that you have $2 bills. If they're unique.
This is also for you, Glenn, for a fabulous job that you did
Thank you.
as a Rotary.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Glenn, this is for you for being such a good mentor to me. I appreciate it.
I have 2. One for your outstanding stewardship of our Rotary over the last 2 years. And the second, my wife Gretchen had a detached retina, so I took her over to Will's Eye and she got that all squared away today.
Wow.
Okay, is that it?
Who was the doctor?
I
You don't remember?
don't remember his name.
Where does she, what office did she actually go to?
He had it from the meeting.
Plymouth Meeting.
Lasers.
It's much easier
Yeah.
to go to Plymouth Meeting.
Yeah.
Just a reminder before I give a short speech. I'm warning you that when I preach, sometimes it's 30 or 40 minutes, but I'm not preaching to you, so it's going to be far less than that. But just a reminder that the ball game information is still on the table, and there's also the picture on a few of the tables of the peace posts that we're working on getting put in. I'm going to start out with something I think I shared when I became president. I've been a member of several Rotary clubs over the years, or several service clubs, I should say, over the years, but my favorite has always been Rotary. One club I belonged to, it was my first one, it was in Astoria, New York. I went, they welcomed me, made me a member. A few weeks later, the restaurant that they met in had a fire, and I never heard from anybody. So I don't know whether the club just stopped or whether they just didn't follow up with their members. But I've looked back and I've had involvement with 8 Rotary clubs over 45 years. Each has provided fellowship with like-minded people. When I started in Rotary, only men were allowed. And a common expression was, Rotarians own the town and Kiwanians run it. Do you remember that expression? I was the youngest man in the club. It was interesting because the Salvation Army officer had always been a member of that club, and generally for a good number of years, except the last maybe 3 or 4 before I came, all the officers had been older. Some of them actually retired from there. And then I got there, and at the age of 26, ended up becoming a member of this club, and I'm sure I was the youngest member that was there. Ever, probably, you're right. That started my love for Rotary and what it stands for, and all these clubs have lived out that motto, service above self. I like that. Actually, I've learned more here about it, or thought more about it, because of something Rick said once about his son challenging him when he was talking about somebody and something, and saying, "Dad, does that live up to the four-way test?"
Got me cold.
Got him cold. And I began to think about it. And it's an excellent thing. It's ideal. I mean, I'm a Christian, and there are certainly principles I go by, but none of them quite as clear as this, as determining whether or not you should do something. And yet, right in line with my beliefs, and probably all of your beliefs, it's an ideal thing. There were breaks when my Salvation Army assignments didn't allow me membership in a local club, but when I was able, I found and joined a club. My journey ended in this club. Having settled into our retirement home, I checked out some local clubs. I visited Chestnut Hill, but at that point, most of the members were old in my eyes. And since then, they've really revived. The club has really become very vibrant. But at that point, it wasn't all that vibrant. I checked out the Ardmore Club and felt that it may have been out of my league. And I thought that probably because the day I was there, the president of Haverford College or something was the speaker, and I thought, I wonder if all these people are big wigs like that. So I checked out Bala Kidwood, and I found a group more to my liking. One thing I did like was that no one greeted me when I first entered. There were a few folks, that's when the tables were apart, there were a few folks at a table here, and I came in, and because the sign says 12:15, I wanted to be in here before 12:15, and they were talking, I can't remember who it was, if you were there and remember, I'm talking about you, but I remember they didn't say anything, so I sat at the table over here, and the minute Rick came in, he was over there welcoming me and almost sticking an application in my hand to join the club. But I found this a group more to my liking.
And we like you too.
Yeah. In fact, that's the reason I started trying to get here early and put out badges and things if they weren't already out and greet people when they came. I didn't want anybody else to have that experience. And we're a friendly club. It's just any group, you need to be careful you don't just become ingrown and not recognize and greet those who are coming in. My first inkling that I might become part of the club become the club president came when I was sent to Pets. And this again was not very clear to me. I remember about a week before, probably at the meeting, I think it was Ken Podell and maybe you, and said, there's this training that will help you to understand more about Rotary, and we'd like you to go. Well, since it was such short time, I was able to go to a little bit of it, but I couldn't because my schedule, part of my schedule for that was filled. But nobody said, we want you to possibly be the club president. And there was no information about what it was other than that we would learn about Rotary. Now, Gabe Spector was president when I joined, and was soon followed by Ken Podell. And near the end of his term, I was approached about being president, but didn't really feel I was ready. And because I had some health concerns then, I've had trouble over the years with my neck and my back, I really didn't want to take on that responsibility. In fact, I almost felt there was a little bit too much pressure being there and toyed with leaving the club. So just be careful. Make sure you know and tell your person in advance what your thoughts are and plans are and not kind of ambush them. But the good thing was Richard Lee was willing to step in, and I agreed that I would become the vice president and then ultimately the president-elect. I want to thank Rick for getting me to do a few things even before I became president. He showed me these buckets that we use for Polio Plus and said, they're back in this cabinet, please put them out. We use them to collect money. Now, I don't think we've been doing it. I may be wrong, but I don't think we've been doing it regularly, at least. When I first came and he said that, so we pulled them out and we've been collecting money. In fact, I was told that we sent $1,000 just recently to Rotary International for Polio Plus. That's funds that we'd raised since the last time we sent, I think, $500 a year and a half ago. So again, just those few dollars every week makes a difference. And you could calculate out, but I won't have you, how many doses of Polio Plus vaccine we have provided.
We'll just divide it by 60 cents
60
per
cents.
person.
Okay. Another thing that helped me was doing the attendance. And if memory serves me correctly, Rick handed me an attendance sheet and asked me to take attendance each week. And again, I don't know if we were doing that before or not. I don't remember, maybe somebody was and I just didn't know. But this helped me to learn members' names. Faces become familiar to me fairly quickly, but it really helps to put a name with a face. And that process gave me confidence that I started to know people's names. And that made me more comfortable coming in as the president. So what have we accomplished together over these past few years? I think one of the biggest things the club's done in my time with it is to help purchase that bookmobile for Treehouse Books. And then we've periodically collected books and given them to them. But every year, we've also given them $2,000, hoping that it would continue to fund. And this year, we finally decided that we would ask for a grant from district donor designated funds. And I'm not sure where it stands, because every time we said this is the deadline, they pushed it 2 more weeks and 2 more weeks. And the last thing I know, they didn't meet till the 15th or whatever to make their decision. So I don't know what the decision is. I'm assuming they'll tell you, Pat, at what point they make their decision.
Glenn, how much was the grant request?
It was for $2,000 to match the $2,000 that we typically give. And it was a helpful experience to go through it, because having been through the grant proposal and what it takes now gives you the experience and the confidence to try again if it doesn't happen, or just to continue to look for opportunities to expand our giving. I looked back to see how the BCN Foundation helped meet needs in the community in the last few years. My first year here as president, we supported the following groups with $6,600. You'll remember that was the year of Maui relief because of the fire, Ukraine relief, our first time around, the Narberth Food Bank that we still support, Salvation Army that year, Himalayas Foundation, again we did from the BCN Rotary Foundation here, Tikva, and Treehouse Books. In the past year, at this point, we have supported with grants of $3,740, and again we have that $2,000 still to go for Treehouse Books while we wait hopefully for that matching grant. We've added to the list of folks. We supported the Anderson Monarchs, the Eastern Service Workers Association, the Bala Kinwood Neighborhood Club for the plaque on the new gazebo at the Bala Kinwood Park, and Ukrainian assistance. What I was glad with that is we committed $1,000 from BCN Rotary, but also we almost raised another $1,000 from our members' donations when we did that. One of the things that I missed after our first few years were hands-on projects. I really enjoyed the annual Narberth Halloween Parade. And you'll know that for years, I think, that you've gone. And at that point, the Rotaract Club at St. Joe's was active, and they came and they helped us, and it was a good experience. Unfortunately, the man who had done it for years, I guess, couldn't continue to do it, and nobody was willing to pick it up. So I was glad when we had the opportunity this year of going and getting ourselves involved with the Narberth Run. And there were, I think, 3 of us, or at least 3, maybe 4, of us who went, and participated. And it happens to fall, it appears, on the weekend or week that Rotary encourages clubs to do service. So it has the potential of continuing that in the future. One of the things that has been helpful, I think, in our club is regularly scheduled board meetings. Because when we did them periodically, kind of calling them when we needed them, sometimes people couldn't come because their schedule, they didn't have it on their schedule. In fact, a couple times I would have liked to have come, but I had something on my schedule. So we went to every other month, and that's a pattern I think Pat is going to continue in his administration also. We've tried a few things during my presidency. We did that membership satisfaction survey early in our first year, and it really showed how most club members are happy with the club and the way we run things, which was very positive. It was very positive response, very little. It did kind of show, though, for newer members that we had at that point, that maybe they weren't tied in as much as they should have been. We've done some social things that were great fun. Those have included a meal together in Chinatown. Thanks, Richard. Our annual holiday parties, which have had a variety of entertainment and participation. Participation in the regional drinks with our district governor. That's the way she wanted to become known this Rotary year. And so I'm guessing that we may have had as many members from our club, as small as it is, who attended the session at Richard Lee's as maybe larger clubs had at the other sessions that were offered. We visited Sherm's apartment in Atlantic City, and we had a Chinese New Year's celebration at Richard Lee's, where he shared again some of the customs, and we had a time of fellowship at Pat Broderick's home. One of my disappointments has been not being able to add and maintain new members. This will be essential to the club's continuing into our second century of service to the community. I have to tell you folks, when I joined the club, I had no idea that some of you are as old as you are. And yet, so healthy and vibrant. And I'm glad of that, because being associated with you, I hope that I'm going to be vibrant and very active too into older years. But again, we do need new blood in order for us to continue to be the now lower mainline Rotary Club. I'm looking forward to seeing Pat come on as president, and I plan on supporting his efforts to continue to make us a stronger club. And that is all my comments. No long sermon, just a few short comments as I say goodbye, presidency. Now a fast. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wait, okay, I won't go away.
Don't leave yet.
By the way, it was nice to see Zach on. I don't know if you noticed, but he was driving around and he put himself on for a while. He may have gotten to a point he had to get out of the car or something, so.
Glenn?
Yes.
Your Rotary Technology Committee for our club,
Yes.
guess what the average age is of that membership?
82?
84.
84, okay. Yeah, pretty good that we've kept up on technology. Yeah. Yes,
And
sir.
I'm counting on you to continue with all the technology help that you've provided throughout the years. Besides being a good mentor to me, I think we've been lucky fortunate and blessed to have a man of the cloth and a man who, even outside of Rotary, has been service above self. I mean, that is miraculous. He's been inspirational, and I was hesitant to step up to this too, except that he's been helping to show me the way, and he's done an awfully good job of being a great example of what a president should be. I don't know that I can live up to that. Thanks. On behalf of the club, I'd like to present you with this plaque with a gavel attached. Don't take the gavel off. That's.
I'm gonna get you over here.
Yeah, and,
Very good.
to recognize your service as president. And inside this little box is a pin. Since you don't have a lapel, I'm not going to put it on today.
No.
So,
Ah, lovely.
Nice pin.
Oh,
and,
yeah. The past president's pin. Very lovely.
Past president, and here's a little
Oh, yeah.
less formal.
Okay,
Past president.
very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
I'm looking forward to continuing to serve with you.
That was good.
Thank you. God
If
bless.
you would both step over here for just a moment.
Yeah, we can.
The grip, not the grip and grin, we're just gonna hold that up. Come in a little closer. There, right there is good, and let me back off just a little bit. There we go. All right, and here we are, one of those, and one of these. Should do it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
God
God
bless.
bless.
Godspeed. And before I sit down, two things. One,